Have you ever dealt with someone who always needs to feel superior? Someone who cannot tolerate being questioned, corrected, or ignored? Someone who must always be right, must always win, and must always be in control, whether it's at home, at work, in friendships, or in relationships. At first, they may look confident, charming, even inspiring. But slowly you begin to notice something disturbing. Conversations revolve around them. Your boundaries feel like an insult to them. And whenever you disagree, the problem somehow becomes you. This is not coincidence. This is a psychological pattern. Welcome to Decoded Buddha, a channel where we decode human behavior using psychology, awareness, and truth. Not labels, not hate. This video is part of our ongoing series where we examine the human mind, power, and control patterns that shape societies and relationships alike. You are watching Decoded Buddha, Psychology of the Mind series. Now let's talk about narcissism. Not as a trend word, but as a serious personality pattern. A narcissist is not simply someone who loves themselves too much. That is a shallow and misleading definition. In psychology, narcissism is rooted in fragile self-worth. On the surface, a narcissist may appear confident, dominant, and self-assured. But internally, their sense of value is unstable. They do not feel secure from within, so they constantly seek validation from the outside. This validation can come from many places: admiration, obedience, fear, attention, or control. And wherever they find it, they attach themselves to it. That is why narcissists are often drawn to positions of influence. They may appear as charismatic leaders, dominating parents, controlling partners, manipulative friends, or authoritarian bosses. The environment may change, but the pattern remains the same. At the core of narcissism is one psychological need: regulation of self-worth through power. In simple words, a narcissist feels okay only when they feel above someone else. This is why narcissists struggle deeply with empathy. It is not that they do not understand emotions intellectually. Many narcissists are actually very good at reading people, but they do not emotionally resonate with others' pain. Empathy for them is a tool, not a feeling. They use it to predict reactions, not to care. This is also why boundaries feel threatening to a narcissist. A boundary says, "You cannot control me." And control is how they maintain their inner balance. When you assert independence, question authority, or refuse compliance, it destabilizes them. So they respond with tactics. Sometimes it is charm, sometimes guilt, sometimes anger, sometimes silence. But the goal is always the same: restore control. In workplaces, this may look like a boss who never admits mistakes, takes credit for others' work, and punishes disagreement. In families, it may look like a parent who sees children as extensions of themselves rather than individuals. In friendships, it may appear as manipulation, emotional pressure, or constant competition. And yes, in romantic relationships, narcissism often becomes painfully visible because intimacy exposes control patterns faster. But it is important to understand this clearly. Romantic relationships do not create narcissism. They only reveal it. One of the most dangerous aspects of narcissism is how normal it can look at first. Confidence is admired, leadership is praised, dominance is often rewarded by society. This makes narcissism hard to identify early, especially in cultures that glorify power and success without questioning character. Over time, people around a narcissist begin to feel confused. They feel drained, doubting themselves, constantly adjusting to avoid conflict. Slowly, their voice becomes softer, their boundaries weaker, and their self-trust eroded. This is not because they are weak. It is because narcissistic dynamics are psychologically corrosive. Narcissism is not about self-love. It is about self-protection through dominance. It is a personality pattern that feeds on control, admiration, and power. And it damages anyone who stays too close for too long. One of the most important truths about narcissism is this: narcissists rarely change on their own. Change requires self-awareness, accountability, and the ability to tolerate shame. For a narcissist, shame feels unbearable. Admitting fault threatens their entire identity. So instead of reflecting, they deflect. Instead of apologizing, they justify. Instead of changing, they repeat the same patterns with different people and in different environments. This is why promises of change often sound convincing but lead nowhere. The words may change, but the behavior stays the same. Another dangerous aspect of narcissism is escalation. When a narcissist realizes that their behavior has no consequences, their confidence grows. When they see that people around them keep adjusting, staying silent, or doubting themselves, they push boundaries further. Control becomes stronger. Manipulation becomes more obvious. Emotional punishment becomes more frequent. This escalation can happen anywhere, in families, workplaces, friendships, or romantic relationships. The setting does not matter. What matters is power. The more power a narcissist has over someone, emotional, financial, social, or positional, the more dangerous the dynamic becomes. It is important to say this responsibly. Not every narcissist is physically violent, but many harmful and abusive situations begin with narcissistic control. Emotional abuse, gaslighting, intimidation, and isolation often come first. When these behaviors are normalized or ignored, the risk increases. A common question people ask is, why do people stay around narcissists even when they know something is wrong? The answer lies in psychology, not weakness. Narcissistic environments slowly erode self-trust. People begin to doubt their perceptions, minimize their feelings, and blame themselves. At the same time, narcissists often alternate between criticism and approval. This creates confusion and emotional dependency. The brain starts associating relief with the narcissist, even though they are also the source of stress. This is not a conscious choice. This is conditioning. Another factor is social pressure. Many people are told to tolerate, adjust, or stay quiet, especially when the narcissist holds authority or social status. This silence protects the narcissist and isolates those affected even further. Over time, people around a narcissist may feel exhausted, anxious, and disconnected from themselves. They may feel like they are constantly walking on eggshells trying to avoid conflict or prove their worth. This is a clear sign that something is wrong. Here is an important distinction to remember. Healthy confidence does not need to dominate others. Healthy leadership does not fear questions. Healthy relationships do not require control to survive. Narcissism, on the other hand, depends on superiority. It needs others to feel smaller so that the narcissist can feel stable. This is why boundaries are punished, independence is discouraged, and disagreement is seen as betrayal. The goal of understanding narcissism is not to label or attack people. The goal is clarity. Awareness helps you recognize patterns early, protect your mental health, and make informed decisions. You cannot fix a narcissist by loving them harder, explaining more, or sacrificing yourself. Change is only possible when the person takes responsibility, and that is something you cannot force. The moral of this topic is simple but powerful. If someone consistently needs to feel superior, cannot tolerate boundaries, and punishes independence, the problem is not the situation. The problem is the pattern. Before we end, ask yourself honestly, do you feel free to express yourself around this person? Do you feel respected even when you disagree? Do you feel safe being imperfect? Or do you feel smaller, quieter, and more careful over time? These questions matter. If this video helped you understand something important, please like it so this awareness can reach more people. Share it with someone who might be struggling but doesn't have the words yet. And subscribe to our channel, Decoded Buddha, if you want more psychology-based conversations about human behavior, power, and the mind. For deeper articles and long-form breakdowns, visit our website. All links are available in the description. And for short daily insights on psychology and awareness, follow us on Instagram, Decoded Buddha. The links are also in the description. Awareness is not about fear, it is about clarity. And clarity is the first step toward freedom. We'll see you in the next episode of Decoded Buddha.